Welcome to this self-massage session for the Phoenix Providence Community. My name's Tia Tambyln and I'm a massage therapist based at Bottlette Farm in South East Cornwall. The aim is to share with you a very simple sequence for you to follow along with, but it's important to note that if anything doesn't feel right for your body, then please do feel free to adapt and change it as works for you. All you're going to need is somewhere comfortable to sit. I'm on a yoga mat, you might just want to be on a carpet or rug, but make sure you've got a couple of cushions to hand so that you can sit on them and support your back. You don't want to have a rounded lower back, you want to try and keep a straight spine. Equally, if you feel more comfortable sitting on a chair, that's absolutely fine. You also want to have to hand a little bit of oil that's suitable for using on your body. I'm going to use the Phoenix Providence Nourish Body Oil, which I completely love. I use it every morning after showering, and at the end of my warm shower, I always have a cold shower, an invigorating cold shower. So it's like my little prize at the end is to come out and inhale the beautiful aromas of lavender and eucalyptus and juniper berry that are inside the Nourish Body Oil. But feel free to use any body oil that you have to hand, or even pop to the kitchen and grab some coconut oil or some olive oil if they work on your skin. And just a note before we get started, with self-massage, you are obviously the giver as well as the receiver of the touch. So in order to maximise the therapeutic value of it, I find that it really helps to try and tune your mind into the receiving. And sometimes that becomes a little easier as you repeat a stroke a few times. The first couple of times you may just be kind of getting the hang of working over the contours of your body. But really, if you can, try and tune your mind into what it feels like to receive. And that might mean you want to stop and pause the video to just work on an area a little bit more, which is completely fine. So I hope you enjoy. Just before we start with the massage, we're just going to take a moment to kind of drop in for a calming, mindful moment. So just sitting comfortably, however works for you, and when you're ready, lowering your gaze or closing your eyes and bringing your awareness to your body and to how it feels in this moment. So noticing without any judgment what your energy feels like. Is it calm? Is it fizzing? Is there a feeling of stress? Is it tired? You're not bringing any judgment at all, you're just noticing. And when you're ready, taking 3 long, deep breaths. Trying to make each inhale and exhale slightly longer than the one before. So just in your own time, taking 3 long, slow, deep breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth, if that feels comfortable for you. Just allowing your jaw to relax, your shoulders to drop, and your body to settle. And then when you're ready, lifting your gaze or opening your eyes. And we're going to begin with foot massage. So bringing your oil to hand and just adding a few drops of whichever oil you have, rubbing it between your hands in order to warm it. And then you're basically going to lift either of your feet and hook it on top of the thigh of the alternate leg. Now I'm just going to twist around slightly so you can see what I'm doing. So you're going to expose the sole. Then with the oil between the palms of both hands, using flat hands, you're going to follow the contours of the foot, working on both the upper and lower side of the foot, and just creating some sweeping strokes. So you're almost sandwiching the foot between both of your hands, working from the heel, through the arch, the ball of your feet and the toes, and just trying to create a nice sense of flow through this stroke. Trying to keep your back as straight as possible and allowing your body to follow through. So your whole body is getting a nice stretch. Then when you're ready, taking your thumbs, and we're going to use them almost like windscreen wipers on the soles of your foot. So starting at the heel, applying some pressure with your thumbs as you circle through from the heel over the arch, the balls of your feet and through the toes, and just repeating that 2 or 3 times. Again, being aware of trying not to roll your back, curve your back too much, and allowing your whole body to flow with the rhythm of the stroke on your foot. And again, working from the heel to the top of the foot, bring your awareness to what it feels like. You'll probably notice there's some areas that feel particularly juicy and lovely as you work over them. Then we're going to use the soft pads at the top of our thumbs to create some pressure points. So perhaps starting around the arch of the foot, just leaning in slightly, holding for 2 or 3 seconds and releasing. Moving your thumbs, leaning in, adding a bit of pressure, holding and releasing. Leaning in, holding and releasing. And working over the balls of your foot in the same way. Then again, using your flat hands to sweep over the whole of your foot. And the third time, as you release from the toes, just allowing your mind to settle on the feeling within your foot, the energy, whether it feels any different. Then when you're ready, I'm going to twizzle round so you can see what I'm doing, but we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. You may need to add a little bit more oil. I do. So rubbing it between your hands, then using your flat hands to sandwich the whole of the upper and lower sides of your feet, working over the contours, allowing a sense of flow within your whole body. Then using the flats of your thumbs to work like windscreen wipers from the heels of your feet through the arch, over the balls of your feet and the toes. And again, working from the heel to the toes of your foot about 2 or 3 times. You can spend a little bit longer if you want to on anywhere that feels particularly good for you. For me, the arch of my foot always feels really good to work into. Really feeling into the receiving. Again, using the tops of the thumbs to create pressure points, checking your back alignment, leaning into a pressure point. I'm using the arch of my foot, holding for a few seconds and releasing, and then doing it again. I'm going to work up the arch of my foot and then over the balls of my feet. Coming back to flat hands to sweep over the foot. It's quite nice to create a sense of lift at the end of your flow. And as you come off the final time, just noticing how the foot feels, whether it feels any different. We're going to stay in a seated position, but place our feet down in front of us. And then we're going to cup the palms of our hands. We're going to work up each leg in turn. Again, I'll move my legs slightly out to the side. Maybe I'll drop this one down. With your fingers at the front of your lower leg, squeeze in to the calf muscle as you work your way up. Allow your back to stay straight, but use your whole body to lean into this. And then squeezing between your thigh and the front of your upper leg, coming back down again, using your palms to squeeze into the calf and your fingers to squeeze into the front of your lower leg, and then both hands to sweep up a couple of times. We're going to then do the same with the other leg. So squeezing into the calf. I'll move mine slightly further around to the side. Allowing your whole body to flow into the rhythm of the touch. Squeezing the upper leg between your hands. You might want to shift your hands round so that you're creating touch with all parts. Coming back down again, down the lower leg. And then some sweeps from the ankle right through to the top of the thighs. Coming to seated position, again in neutral position. So for the upper back, we're going to begin with one side using the alternate hands to one hand with the alternate shoulder. Add a little more oil if you need it. And then starting at the neck area, we're just going to reach over and pull up. Now, if you've got a top on, you can do this on top of the top, or you can do what I've done is to just switch it to one side. And for me, it feels like there's some really lovely areas that definitely require attention. Then when you've swept your hand and pulled up and over your shoulder, if there are any areas that feel quite tight, you can just use your fingers to circle into those areas, trying to make sure your whole back doesn't collapse. If you have one at all for another time, I find it's quite nice if you've got a hard ball like a tennis ball or a cork ball, and you can use that to help as well. And then sweeping down the shoulder. So with the other side, alternate hand to the other shoulder, and begin by reaching down and just sweeping up. Working your way outwards from near the neck to over the shoulder, and coming back again. And when you're ready, just creating some little circles with your fingers, making sure your body feels in alignment. And again, you could always come back to this area with a ball if you want to work a little deeper and harder. We're going to work arms and hands now. So again, the hand that's receiving, the arm that's receiving, just lay the hand on the knee of the same side. The opposite hand is going to sweep down over the arm, just covering from the shoulder to the wrist. You might want to elevate the arm a little to reach down, just to create a sense of touch through the skin on the whole of that arm. And then with the receiving hand resting on the knee, using the alternate hand to create some lovely circles into the palm with your thumb. Trying to allow the receiving arm and hand to relax. Try not to be too tense around the shoulder. And just working through the joints of each finger and thumb on that hand as well. Just finishing with a lovely sweeping movement through the old shoulder to hand. Just taking a moment before we alternate. So the hand that was giving is now resting on the knee of the same side, and we're going to sweep down the shoulder to the wrist. Allow the receiving arm to relax until you need to elevate it slightly. To get to the underside, relaxing the hand down and offering some small circles into the palms of the hand. Trying to allow the receiving hand to really relax. Working through the joints, the fingers. And finishing off with some sweeping from the shoulder down to the hand. Resting for a moment. We're then going to come to the neck. You're going to reach both hands, use the pads of your fingers and place them either side of the spine, reaching as far down as you can. So don't work on top of the spine, you want to work just to the outside of it. You're going to reach down as far as you can and then slowly pull your fingers either side of the spine, dip your head forward so that you are stretching out the muscles, come right up through the neck until you reach the underside of the occipital bone, which is a little ridge that's just inside the hairline. Hold there on the underside of the occipital bone, just pulling upwards to create a lovely sense of stretch. And repeat, so place your hands down, pulling with the pads of your fingers either side of the spine, pulling up, slowly, all the muscles that are either side of your spine until you reach the underside of the ridge that's just inside your hairline, called the occipital bone, holding and creating an upwards pressure on the underside of it. Allowing your arms to release down. And then finally, we're going to work on the head. If like me, you've got long hair and you've got your hair up, just allowing your hair to release down and give it a bit of a shake out to release the follicles. And then we're going to use flat hands from the back of our neck right round, pulling up this time. It's upward motion, up and over the hair, releasing down again. If you haven't got long hair, create the same movement up and over all the different sections of your head. coming around to the side. So each time you're aiming for the crown, lifting off around the crown, including the face, from the jaw and up. And then when you're ready, placing the pads of your fingers on the crown of your head and just holding for a second or two with your gaze lowered or your eyes closed. And then just releasing. And so to finish, we're going to come back once again to a mindful moment. So resting your hands on your knees, palms up, lowering your gaze or closing your eyes. Taking a long deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just feeling into the energy of your body once again. Noticing, has it changed? And again, you're bringing no judgment, you're just noticing. Focus on the palms of your hands. Can you feel a tingling, an energy from all they have given and received? So taking 3 long, slow, deep breaths in your own time to allow that fizzing, loving energy to percolate through your whole body and visualizing it moving from the crown of your head right the way down, down through your body to the soles of your feet. Turning the corners of your mouth into an honest and welcome smile, lifting your gaze or opening your eyes and offering a quiet moment of gratitude for your beautiful and unique body. So I hope you've enjoyed tuning into your body through this self-massage session, and just remember the incredible power that we hold within our hands and is available to us at any time. So thank you very much for joining me.